Warframe is an absolutely fantastic game that can be very overwhelming to new players. With many beginner guides in the Warframe scene being upwards of 8 hours or more worth of video content, there's a ton to learn about this game. During my beginner guide series, I saw a desire for the more compact starter guide for new players, which this video is trying to deliver. So here are 5 things each new player should know. Warframe is a free-to-play, third-person shooter with a decent amount of RPG elements thrown in. When you first begin your journey, you are given the choice of 3 frames. I recommend going with the Excalibur frame, as it will be the easiest to understand and mod for a new player. However, do understand that Warframe is a game all about choice, so if Mag or Volt sound fun to you, then by all means, choose them. A recent update has made the Excalibur frame much easier to build early on within the star chart. Next, it's time to learn how to bullet jump. Insert Space Ninja-ness. Alright, so a bullet jump is essentially how you're going to be moving around in the world of Warframe. It's a crouch slide into a jump, and you can do a double jump afterwards. So to get started, crouch slide, double jump, crouch slide, double jump. And then if you chain a sprint button, you can do a roll at the very end of it. So your chain should look like crouch slide, double jump, shift, crouch slide, double jump, shift, crouch slide, double jump, shift. Now Trinity Prime is being a little bit slow right now, but this is essentially how you can traverse through maps very quickly. If you want to go up with a bullet jump, all you need to do is look up while doing your crouch jump, or you can even look down. You want to ADS while you're in midair if you want to go into a slow fall scenario where you can still fire at enemies. And the real goal is maintaining your momentum as you traverse through the map. You never really want to be coming to a full stop in Warframe. You want to try and continue that flow. The strong players are really good at maneuvering the maps and getting around really quickly. So again, crouch jump, and you can do a double jump into a slide. And that's bullet jumping in a nutshell and why you get to be a space ninja. After the short tutorial section, you'll be thrown into the star chart. This map shows mission nodes spread out throughout your Warframe journey. Blinking blue nodes represent missions that grant affinity upon completion, which we'll touch on in just a moment. Your initial goal should be progressing through the star chart by completing these blue blinking nodes. You'll note additional nodes on the edges of the planet called Junctions. These are the barriers between you and the next planet. Each junction will show what criteria is required for you to complete before you can enter the next planet. Completing the criteria listed will allow you to enter the junction and fight the Warframe that is within. These junctions start out very easy and are straightforward, and eventually become more challenging, and some requirements get a lot more vague. A huge stopping block for many players is the Cephalon fragment scanning requirement on Mars. The Warframe Wikipedia is your friend when it comes to figuring out some of these more vague requirements. The Warframes you fight within these junctions tend to be fairly easy, but once again, later in the star chart will ramp up with difficulty. A very important concept to understand is mastery ranking, or MR as it's referred to within the game. MR is essentially the way the game tracks a player's progress of how much of the game's total content you've experienced. Warframes, weapons, companions, and Arcwings can all be ranked up to rank 30 through affinity, and that affinity is like the in-game XP system. So anytime you get a new Warframe or a weapon, as you're playing through a mission, by completing objectives, taking enemies out, you'll accumulate affinity, and that affinity will help rank your Warframe and weapon up from 0 to 30, rank 30 being the maximum. As more weapons, Warframes, companions, and Arcwings reach rank 30, your mastery rank will go higher and higher. A higher mastery rank gives you access to new weapons to craft, Warframes, and mods. It'll help increase your daily trading limit. It can help raise the maximum void trace capacity and more. Affinity is the in-game experience point mechanic within Warframe. You get affinity by killing enemies, hacking terminals, completing objectives, missions, and challenges, using Warframe powers, and by picking up affinity orbs. Players gain 200 mastery points per affinity level on a previously unranked Warframe, Arcwing, or companion, and 100 mastery points per level on a previously unranked weapon. What that all means is, by playing with new gear and leveling that new gear up, you're going to push your mastery rank higher, and that is helpful for crafting better weapons further down the road in your journey. 2 weapons that you want to be working towards in the earlier stages of the game: the Boltor and the Heck. The Boltor you can get at mastery rank 2. It's a great weapon for beginner players to strive for. At MR4, you can build the Heck, a very powerful shotgun that can scale with you for a long time throughout the rest of the star chart. Building gear in Warframe involves going to the market, finding the piece of gear that you want, purchasing the blueprint for it using credits, which is the in-game currency system, not platinum, which is the real-world money equivalent within Warframe. By going to the market and purchasing the blueprint, you then can come down to your foundry and build the particular piece of gear you just got the blueprint for. From here, you can find your blueprint and see what items and resources are required for you to craft this particular piece of gear. There are a lot of different types of resources within Warframe. So if you don't know what it is, again, don't be scared to go to the wiki, search it, and learn where the drop points are for that particular resource. Once you begin the building process, it generally takes 12 hours for most things to complete building. You of course can spend platinum to speed this process up, but in general, I wouldn't advise it unless you're just in an absolute hurry or rush. I can't think of really any circumstance where I've used platinum to speed the process up. Warframes can take a little bit longer, closer to 3 days. That timer will click down even when you're not within the game playing it. As you progress further in your journey, the game is going to get harder. And that's where modding comes in. Modding is how you customize your particular weapons and frames to suit your playstyle and try and enhance abilities for that particular Warframe or weapon. This is where the power gap really starts to become apparent, as some of the mod combinations within this game allow frames to become viciously more than they are at a base level. Modding, though, can be quite complicated, and there's no way I can cover it all in this short starter guide video. If you want to learn more, you can check out my short guide by clicking the video link on the screen now. Finally, we need to talk about the market and platinum. Big part of the game of Warframe is pushing towards getting the resources necessary to build the gear and the Warframes that you want. Everything within Warframe, for the most part, can be acquired through gameplay. And spending platinum on things like weapons and Warframes that you may come to learn are very easy to farm can lead to regrets down the road. In general, most experienced players end up using platinum on things more for fashion frame, like unlocking different color palettes. A lot of new players come into the game and see the market and instantly think the game's pay to win, when in fact, you're really paying not to play if you're purchasing loads of gear. A huge core focus of this game is earning that gear through play sessions. And by spending platinum on it, you're sort of removing the fun of the actual grind. So there are 5 things every new player needs to know about Warframe. There's way more to talk about, and if you'd like to learn a bit more about this game, shameless self-promotion, you can check out my Warframe Beginner's Guide series with the video that's linked here as well. If you think there's anything important that I missed that new players should be aware of, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll be thumbing and pinning the things that I think are useful and helpful for others. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel. More Warframe, Destiny, and Monster Hunter World cooking in the oven. Thanks so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, and I'll check in with you again very soon.